Good evening, good morning, good day, good night, wherever you are in the world, and welcome back to this Speed Force Racing GP2 Series Japanese Grand Prix, where we are already 5 laps in and under safety car, but I can't tell you what happened because it's unstable apparently. Yeah, just a little bit of frustration on my end, but we have hopefully got all the bugs worked out, and we're going to be A-OK. Almost every single driver now on the medium compound tire, except for 4 of them, 2 of them on the soft compound, 2 of them on the hard compound. Everyone else on the mediums with Santa Martins. DNF out of the session. So he must have brought out the safety car. KXI in the lead with Crowhawk and Martin, your top 3. Sonicock, Rogue Smithy, your top 5, with Luke Bailey, TNR Fredericks, Adams, Timo, and Norloser, your top 10. Not sure how long the safety car has been deployed, not sure how much longer it is going to be out on this racetrack. So we're just going to have to wait and see. And we're going to have to make the screen go black for just a second, guys. My apologies. And when technical glitches happen, sometimes you just have to work through them. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. But we are back ready to watch the action. And hopefully it means that the safety car is coming in this lap. But look at that. A lot of time penalties already for ignoring yellow flags. Now you can ignore those time penalties. Those will be removed because that is absolutely not correct at all. That is just unfortunately because we cannot have live stewarding at all. We have to deal with those unfortunate time penalties. And Rogue Smithy, he has retired from the session. Something wrong with the Aston Martin driver there. And the safety car, as you can see, still deployed. So we will be going for at least one more lap around this race course, and it looks like we might be going a little bit longer because we still got some stragglers at the back. That's an AlphaTauri and an Alpine, Cassidy and Cara in 18th and 19th respectively, just trying to find their way to the back of that safety car queue, and who knows, maybe even trying to see who they're going to be able to overtake on the front straightaway coming out of the pits, if they're going to be able to. Cassidy might get his teammate here, actually, of Sonicock. Let's take a look at this here. It's going to be very close between the two, but I think that Cassidy, he definitely actually got Sonic before he came out, and Sonic lost the place out to Cara as well. So Sonic finds himself in the 18th position now. But he is on a fresh set of soft tires, and he should be, well, you would think that he would fly through the field on a fresh set of soft tires, but the soft tires does not have as much of an advantage around this circuit as you would expect them to have. So for whatever reason, the soft tires, oh, and who was that spun off? The Aston Martin, perhaps? Of Norloser spinning? But he's not lost any position, unless that was just the car of Rogue Smithy, but that would not make sense because Rogue Smithy, I thought, retired in the pits. But for whatever reason, there was what appeared to be an Aston Martin off the track there. Unless that was Cara and I am just sorely mistaken. Regardless, it is in the past, and we have to move forward with this race. So Luke Bailey there in 4th, and the Alfa Romeo having a good run so far. 6 laps in, and just approaching the 20 laps to go mark. Wow, look at KXI. He went very wide on the straightaway, going all the way into the little service road there. Of course, he's just trying to warm up his tires. It's completely legal, but I was just very surprised that he would even risk going through the grass and maybe, spinning, because if you go through the grass, you might get a little wheel spin, you might spin yourself, and then you might be mad, and you just don't want to do that. But the safety car coming in this lap, KXI, he will be the control car, and he gets a fantastic start, but Crowhawk staying locked to the back of that AlphaTauri as they go down the front straightaway and motor towards turn number 1. Crowhawk going to try to make the overtake on the AlphaTauri, but is he going to be able to make it stick? He's looking on the outside, but has to back out of it. KXI is able to hold the position for now. It's a tight battle for 1 and 2, just behind him, Martin in the Red Bull, just kind of bringing up the rear of the podium positions, and then behind him, Luke Bailey in a fierce battle, just trying to catch Martin and find a way around him. Crowhawk still flirting with the outside of KXI, but ultimately cannot find a good passing opportunity, maybe in the hairpin, but the hairpin, it's really a difficult situation. He might just have to wait until that final chicane, or even going into turn 1 again, where he's going to have a nice bit of DRS to use. Now, there is going to be a DRS zone coming out of the hairpin, but since we just went to, with that green from a safety car, we're not going to have DRS for 3 laps. So for Crowhawk to benefit from that, he's going to have to stay close to that AlphaTauri, not just for this lap, not just till they get to the front straightaway, but for the remainder of those 3 laps. And he is starting to drop away from that 1 second gap that he needs. So KXI, he might just be able to hang on to the lead if he can find a little bit of pace to stay ahead of Crowhawk. But Luke Bailey getting very close to Martin now, and down this straightaway, who got the better exit? I do believe that it was Martin in the Red Bull. He got a much better exit than the Alfa Romeo of Luke Bailey. So Martin is so far got a tiny bit of clean air ahead of him, but it's really not any clean air at all. But he's got a nice slipstream that he can get off the back of Crowhawk. However, Luke Bailey's still close enough to get a slipstream off the back of the Red Bull as well. So lap 7 of 27, now lap 8 of 27, 20 laps to go in this race. And let's go back and take a look at X Gamer, who is trying to make a move on somebody here, but it looks like Frederick just got passed by Timo going into turn number 1. So now we'll take a look at X Gamer, who just got passed by Norloser. So Norloser making his debut today and already has passed one of the regulars. Norloser making his way up through the field in the hard tires, and KXI, he is spun for the lead. KXI spun from the lead. Crowhawk inherits the lead. But if you watch the GP4 race on Monday, you'll know that that is not good for Crowhawk, because we had 3 laps in a row where the leader spun from the lead in approximately that exact same section that KXI just spun. So he's probably kicking himself, but he is not alone in that in the slightest. There's been so many drivers this week spin at that section of the course, and at least 4 now who have spun from the lead. And look at Morris, or actually no, it is Morris trying to go around Trench, or was it actually Timo trying to go around TNR Fredericks? It's very hard to keep track of just who is where at the moment. But Norloser right on the back of X Gamer in that Ferrari, but ultimately could not get the better exit out of the corner. But he's using the slipstream to his advantage and gaining significantly on that Ferrari. Might have a chance at a lunge into the final chicane, but what he's really waiting on is for DRS to be active. It might be activated on this lap or the next lap. Just ahead of him, it's a 3-car battle between what looks to be Luke Bailey, Timo, and Frederick for that final podium position. And look at how they're swerving and on the front straightaway. Crowhawk, Martin, Luke Bailey, all of them just trying to break that draft from the driver behind them. So Cassidy now a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, as we're on board with Timo in the 4th position, who is closing significantly on Luke Bailey in the Alfa Romeo. Down and into 3rd gear for this corner is Timo. And right up on the back of Luke Bailey into the hairpin and out of the hairpin. Both drivers getting a nice, stable exit. But now Timo, he's going to have a look. Just a look, though, could not get the move done, and very smart from Timo. He knows what he's doing. There was no way he's going to get that move done, but he was a bit optimistic, just hoping that there would be a gap, but ultimately there was none, as X Gamer now picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. But Timo, he has got a shot now. He's looking on the inside, but ultimately still has to stay behind Luke Bailey. Now he's got a chance at him, side by side into the final chicane, and Luke Bailey, he just lets off and lets him go. Luke Bailey, he's like, go ahead, you're a little bit faster than me. I will just be smart and run my own race. So Luke Bailey down to 4th, Timo up to 3rd, but will Luke Bailey be able to charge back and get around that Mercedes, or is the Mercedes already dropping off into the sunset? And I think you already got your answer. You can see just how much smaller the Mercedes got from Luke Bailey's point of view. So Crowhawk, Martin, and Timo, your top 3, with Luke Bailey and Frederick your top 5 after 9 laps, lap 10 at the moment, of 27. As Cassidy has retired from the session, retired in the pits, unfortunately for Cassidy, just not the day that he was looking for. Let's go ahead and take a look at Norloser, making his debut, still in the 7th position, but getting closer to X Gamer, but just behind them, Trench and Morris are having a bit of a tight battle. So this is for the constructor standings here. In a sense anyway, Mercedes versus the Haas cars. And through the hairpin, Morris gets a little bit loose, and now Trench is able to go around the outside of Morris. A very easy pass for the Haas driver. Morris now has to just try to pick up the pieces of that spin, and stick close to Trench. Maybe he'll be able to overtake him, but Trench was already getting a little bit closer to Morris. So I think that Morris is going to have to just let that Haas car go for now. Morris 4 laps on those medium tires, Trench 7 laps on the medium tires. It would stand to reason that Trench's tires might have just a little bit more grip in them than Morris at the moment, just because these medium tires take a few laps to really get heat worked in them and to really get some grip. So even though they have a little bit more laps on them, Morris's tires just have not came in yet. Timo 132.028, the fastest lap of the race. Looks like some drivers are making some pit stops now. Maybe X Gamer just going around Trench, or going around Frederick. Excuse me, that was the movement that you saw. And we're starting to get into a DRS train around here now, and that is not good for so many reasons. Of course, if you have watched any SFR race, you know exactly why that is not good. It is simply because DRS trains are, well, they're awful. That's just how it is. They are awful. And if you've raced in a DRS train, they're awful. There's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing the drivers can do about it. If a driver knew how to break a DRS train, they would do it, and we would never have them. But unfortunately, we do have them. But look at how close Timo is getting to the back of the Red Bull. Now, Timo, he might have a shot at getting around this Red Bull. He might even be able to have a shot to get 2 for 1 down this straightaway if he gets a fantastic exit. But not sure if he's going to be able to get both of them straight away. He's going to have to use the DRS on the front straightaway if he's not able to get this Red Bull. So he's using the slipstream here, but he's going to run out of straightaway by the time they get to the corner. Now, this is a wide open corner. You really shouldn't have to lift hardly at all. If you do, just a tiny burp of the throttle just to make sure that the car is able to set through the corner. And all these drivers using a lot of curve. Got to be careful, though, to not get the car too upset. Timo looking on the outside, but everyone taking the inside line, trying to take that shortest line around the race course out of that final corner. But Timo now on the outside of Martin, and it's side by side, maybe some contact, maybe, but regardless, Timo gets around Martin. Martin down to third, Timo up to second, and now he has his sights set on Crowhawk in the Alfa Romeo. Let's see if Crowhawk is going to be able to defend any better than what Martin was able to. Martin, he tried, but ultimately there was just nowhere to go. Timo was already on his outside, so he crowded him as much as he could, but he couldn't do any more without making contact with him. And Timo already on the back of Crowhawk, very tight to the back of that Alfa Romeo. Through the hairpin, has to follow a nice single file line, but there should be a chance at least for Timo to get around him here. He's got the slipstream, he's got some speed, but he's going to run out of straightaway. Can't make the move this time. I'll be looking for it into turn number 1, because I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get the straight line speed that he needs down this straightaway by the time they get to that corner. That tiny little kink at the end of the straightaway before you can continue to go full throttle a little bit more before you get to the chicane. Now, Timo has made a pass earlier in the race at this section, but it's not going to happen this time. So he's going to have to go through the chicane in second place once again, but maybe he'll be able to get around Crowhawk going into turn number 1. This is a championship battle for Timo, and if he wins the race today, he will gain on his competitor of Carbon Rom, who is not here today. And there goes Timo underneath of Crowhawk into turn number 1. Makes it look easy. Timo move him up into first. The move is done and dusted, licked the stamp, and sent it. Max Iris, a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Not what our third place in points needed at all. Fitting the medium tires, though, so apparently his previous tires decided to give up the ghost. He's got a fresh set of Dr. Feelgoods on that Red Bull, but unfortunately he does not feel good himself in the 16th position with a 5-second time penalty. Just mainly watching this line of cars because I see X Gamer closing in slightly on Martin, but only slightly is the thing. He's not gaining at a significant margin, and as I mentioned, where we are really stuck in these DRS trains, there's not a lot of places that X Gamer can go. There's not a lot of places that Martin can go, or really anybody. So the entire top 5, top 6 seem to be just stuck in a big slipstream slash DRS line that we have to ultimately watch and deal with. But sooner or later, someone's going to get brave and try and move. They're going to use up a lot of their ERS, use the DRS to their advantage, do everything they can it's going to get a little bit dicey, and we got 3 cars here now between Crowhawk, Martin, and X-Gamer, so it is very close through this final chicane. Martin taking a little bit of the grass with him as X-Gamer has to watch and follow through. X-Gamer loses a little bit of time through the chicane. Meanwhile, Martin getting closer to Crowhawk, but is he going to be able to use the DRS to his advantage? No, because Crowhawk, I think he had some DRS too. And even if he didn't, Martin, he tried to make a move, but it was not able to do anything. And Crowhawk, you saw him get very, very loose there, but not... Wow, that was just impressive. A save from Crowhawk there. So Crowhawk in second place and hanging on to it in more ways than one, as Martin in third is just trying to get a good finish today. X-Gamer trying to get a good finish as well, but he does have time penalties that is going to bite him in the rear end at the end. 3 seconds worth of time penalties to be exact for ignoring track limits, unfortunately, for X-Gamer. And that's a very easy time penalty to pick up, as now looks like there's some movement here with Morris dropping back a little bit. And who else has dropped back? Norloser has dropped back. Something has happened to Norloser. The driver making our debut, he must have had a spin or an off on track, and he is now in the 12th position. So a few drivers just got a few free positions out of that. The question is, will Norloser be pitting? Does he even have to pit? Does he have wing damage anywhere on the car? Cannot tell you that at the moment. He's on the hard tire, so those tires will go to the end of this race. But quite frankly, if he's got any damage, he's going to have to pit. But so far, the wing looks good, at least visibly. Of course, there could be some minor damage that we don't see, but so far, I think that the front wing on the Aston Martin is A-OK. Back to the battle for the top 3, or really second, third, and fourth, because Timo is already 2.8 seconds ahead, and definitely a shoe-in for a good finish today as Martin looks underneath Crowhawk. Is he going to be able to get the move done this time? Side by side. Oh, maybe contact, but Martin was able to get it done. So Crowhawk drops down to third place, and now he has to worry about the Ferrari of X-Gamer behind him. Frederick in fifth now, though, and getting closer to X-Gamer, so he has thrown his hat into the ring. Trench back there as well, just trying to, be on the outside, looking in and waiting for a moment to just pounce. So Crowhawk, something definitely going wrong with this Alfa Romeo. Maybe he's used up his tires a little too much, or maybe he's used up his ERS, but whatever has happened, he is definitely off the pace from what we were seeing from him about 5 or 10 laps ago. Now, granted, some of that is just tire wear, but you see Martin moving forward, you see X-Gamer moving forward, and Frederick to some degree moving forward. But yet you see Crowhawk, who has approximately the same life on his tires as everyone else, moving backward. Not sure why, though. So X-Gamer really flirting with trying to get position on this Alfa Romeo, but ultimately still can't do anything with it. And X-Gamer, he knows if he wants a podium, he doesn't just have to get by Crowhawk. He has to get 3 seconds ahead of anyone that's behind him. And that is going to be a mammoth task, as has been proven today, because of the line of cars that we've been watching for seemingly this entire race since we've been able to broadcast it. Still stuck in this line of cars. Let's go ahead and take a look at Adams in the McLaren. We need to find, a few more drivers to, get a little bit of TV time to. So back here battling for the final points position is Adams, Calvin, and Cara. Luke Bailey there as well. Something very bad has happened to Luke Bailey. He was in the top 3 earlier. Now he finds himself stuck in 11th, trying to just find a way into the top 10. And that's even after Norloser spun and gave him a free position, so to speak. So riding on board with Luke Bailey, you see him there. Definitely a little bit of a struggle through that set of corners. You could hear the car, and you could hear him just trying to get that thing to turn a significant understeer through that corner. Not sure what's going on with Luke Bailey. He is a very experienced driver. I have seen him race not just in SFR, but in other leagues as well that I've commentated for. And Luke Bailey, he has won races. He has done very well. He is definitely no rookie to this, so I'm very surprised that he's having trouble around Suzuka, as Crowhawk, something significant has happened to him, but that significant event is him pitting for a fresh set of softs to go to the end of this race. So Frederick, Crowhawk, Trench, they all went ahead and pitted for those soft compound tires. And, you know, the safety car, it really threw a spanner into the works, because you could realistically make a one-stop strategy work around here, whether you start on the mediums or the softs. But when you get a safety car and you pit very early, then that messes with your pit windows. So that's why you're now seeing these drivers come in with about 10 laps to go, which is well within the tire window of those soft compound tires, to try to get, you know, maybe they're going for the fastest lap. Some of them are just trying to, you know, make up positions, but regardless, they had no choice but to pit, because their tires, they were just giving up the ghost at that point. But someone whose tires are not giving up the ghost is the Ferrari of X Gamer, who's making a move, or trying to, on the outside of Martin in that Red Bull. Not able to make the move stick this time. I wonder if Martin's going into pits. Yes, he is, so his tires have gave up the ghost as well. So Martin pits, X Gamer inherits that second position. Starting to think that maybe we're going to see the Ferrari of X Gamer pit sooner rather than later, and maybe he needs to start thinking about an undercut on Timo if he's going to have even a chance to get by him. Of course, I feel like a lot of the drivers at this point might have already decided that Timo has won this race, and they're fighting for second. Of course, I say that, and I also realize I might be underestimating the competitiveness of some of these drivers. If one thing can be said about Speed Force Racing, it is that the drivers in this league are increasingly and significantly competitive. They are respectful. We are great people to talk to, but we are also fierce competitors on the track. The hairpin once again for Calvin, running in 5th, trailing Adams, who's got 11 laps on his soft tires. Adams almost guaranteed to make another pit stop. Those soft tires, they are not lasting another 10 laps. That's just not going to happen. And look at that, Adams already off and sliding a little bit. So those tires definitely not working for him. He's going to have to pit yesterday. So Calvin, this is probably going to be a fairly easy move, but I think that Calvin's a little bit timid to go around him after that little off that Adams had just a couple of corners ago, and I really cannot blame him for being a little timid, especially when he probably is anticipating the McLaren to make a pit stop now, so why take an early risk? But wow, Adams did not make a pit stop, so he is going to continue on these soft tires, and there's no way that they're making him to the end, so I don't know why he doesn't just go ahead and pit now. If he's got a fresh set of softs, he needs to go on those tires now. If he's got a fresh set of mediums, well, that's ultimately what he's going to have to deal with. It's not an ideal situation for Adams, I don't believe, but he still needs to pit sooner rather than later. He's just losing too much time to Calvin at the moment. Really, his only saving grace is because it's that difficult to pass around here. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and take a look at Trench here for just a moment, because he's getting closer to Crowhawk. So Trench, he was in 6th. Crowhawk, when he pitted, I believe he pitted from the 4th or 5th position. So Trench was fairly close to him, but I think he's a little bit closer now. And Crowhawk went on the soft tire, where Trench went on the medium tire, but Trench is still about even pace with Crowhawk. So once these tires start to wear out, and those softs start to give up the ghost, and Trench starts to really get the heat in those medium tires, then we might see a nice little battle between these two. But just behind them, we got a nice little battle for that final points-paying position between KXI and Martin. KXI, of course, he was leading quite a few laps ago before he spun from the lead, and it's just been a game of catch-up and recovery for the AlphaTauri driver ever since then. Martin, meanwhile, he had a nice little run at the podium earlier on and trying to find his way back to the front of this field, with it being lap 20 of 27. He is running out of time, but so far doing decently as we see more pit stops. Adams has pitted, Calvin has pitted. Kara stays out 17 laps on those medium tires in 4th. And Martin going to make a move on the AlphaTauri. Looking on the outside, he should have the DRS to help him. and he clears him before they get to turn number 1 with relative ease. Move Martin up into 8th, KXI way back down into 9th. So Trench still getting closer to Crowhawk here. He's actually kept the gap about the same, but he is slightly closer than he was last time, so we're going to be very technical here. But did you see just how easily Trench's car got upset up that little uphill section? It's such a difficult section to master. You really need to make sure that you have a lot of rear end grip to get that corner, to get the car to really stick around that corner. And I'm not just talking about sticking as far as not going wide. I mean, you're going to spin very easily too. It may look like these drivers have all the grip in the world around these corners, but in reality, at least from personal experience, I will say that I don't believe that they do, and that they are definitely on the wheel with their elbows out. This track definitely benefits a wheelman. So Trench, this is probably the best opportunity he's had to get around Crowhawk all day long, and can't do anything with it. He got that right front tire in the grass just ever so slightly. I actually think it slowed him down a little, but I don't think he would have been able to make the move regardless, but it did keep him very close to the Alfa Romeo. And now he's going to have the DRS, and he's going to have the chance to make the move on him, and makes it with relative ease. Move Trench up into the 6th position. Crowhawk down to 7th as they enter turn number 1. It's a battle of medium tires versus the soft tires, but Trench, he is already selling away half a second, separating those two drivers. Meanwhile, Norloser, he has found himself back in the 5th position after the pit stops. Timo, 15 laps on those medium tires. Realistically, can he go to the end? I think so. Timo can go to the end, but those tires are going to be on fire. And Crowhawk, something has happened to Crowhawk. He's retired from the session. He's crashed out of the session. So Crowhawk is crashed out. We are under a safety car. Those medium tires of Timo's are no longer going to be going to the end, because you're going to see him pit for a fresh set of softs or a fresh set of mediums or a fresh set of whatever he has got in his pit box to take it to the end. This changes everything. So Timo pits, and wow, a little bit of a moment there in the pit lane, a little scary too, but does he fit the soft or mediums? Just wondering what compound he has. It is the soft tire going on the Mercedes car of Timo, and he should keep the lead of this race, because almost every driver is going to be pitting. And Timo exits the pits with no competitor in sight. Timo will very comfortably keep the lead of this Grand Prix. So it looks like Trench, having only 4 laps on those medium tires, is going to go ahead and take the gamble and try to stay out on the mediums and ultimately go for this win. Now, that is a decent call, actually. Only 4 laps on those medium tires. We're going to have about 3 laps under the safety car. That is going to give these tires a little bit more time to get run in and get heat in them and get the optimal grip that you need. In fact, this might play perfectly into Trench's hands. We have seen the kind of pace that he has. However, it should be noted that Timo had a significant amount of pace on the medium tires in qualifying. So with Timo being on a fresh set of softs, with what will likely be a 4 to 5 lap shootout to the end, it's going to be a dangerous combination. Personally, I think that Timo is going to pull away very quickly, and of course that's just the easy answer around here, isn't it? Because Timo, he has led the majority of this race. He has been very dominant, not just in this race, but in many races in the past this season. So it stands to reason that Timo would pull away on the fresh set of softs on a safety car restart. But X-Gamer back there, he's also on a fresh set of softs, and you know that he is going to be wanting a good finishing position today, especially when you take into consideration he's got 3 seconds worth of time penalties. Those aren't getting removed. Those are staying there. So X-Gamer, he's going to have to get 3 seconds ahead of 4th place if he wants to get a podium. But looking at the point standings now, and X-Gamer, he has a podium in Bahrain. So he did have a 2nd place finish in Bahrain, and he had a 2nd place finish in Belgium, as well as a 3rd place finish in Imola. He has 3 podiums on the season, but you know that he wants another one. You know even more than that, he wants a win. But I don't believe that a win is realistically in the cards for him today due to that time penalty, unless, of course, Timo himself picks up a time penalty, and then it's just both of them battling it out. But Timo making mistakes is very rare, as we've come to see. Very intriguing, though, to look at the leaderboard and see just what drivers have what tires on. So Timo and X Gamer, they don't have any laps on their tires, where Trench has 5 laps on his tires. Martin, he's got 4 laps on his softs, and then it is 0 for Morris, 2 for Adams, and then Kara with 0, Calvin with 2, 5 for Luke Bailey. Just differing pit strategies, but only one driver decided to pit for a fresh set of medium tires, and that is Max Iris in the Red Bull. Max Iris just scrounging for a points-paying finish today. A driver who, about halfway through the season, we thought was going to be able to challenge Carmen Robb for the championship. Now Max Iris, you see him there in the Red Bull, finds himself in 13th position in the race, 3rd place in the championship, with barely a hope, really, of overcoming the significant margin between him and Carmen Robb with just 7 races remaining. Mathematically, of course, he is still in the fight, but the real battle is between Carmen Robb and Timo, who, if the race were to end right now, then Timo would walk away with, I believe, 197.5 points. Which means that he would be approximately 37 points behind Carmen Robb. So it's just a little bit over a race. And obviously I'm rounding because the 0.5 point there for Timo really kind of messes with me. But I'm rounding up, so he should be about 37-ish points behind Carmen Robb once this race ends, if he wins the race. So a little bit more than a full race between the two, but with 6 races remaining after today, it gives Timo a realistic chance at overcoming that gap and beating Carmen Robb. But I think that we're going to have a very nice championship battle if both of these drivers can make the races from here on out. But the safety car is coming in this lap. Timo, he is the control car. He gets to decide when we go. Let's ride on board with X Gamer and watch when Timo goes, which is now. And Timo, not the best of starts, but also not the worst of starts. But X Gamer, he got an even worse start than Timo. And there goes Trench looking on the outside of X Gamer. Can't do anything with it. So X Gamer's going to hold on to the 2nd position for now, with Trench in 3rd, just trying to find a way around in the lap 24 of 27, just a handful of laps to go. Very quick, very fast through this first sector. And watch how those cars rotate around these long sweeping corners. That's what I was talking about. They rotate a little bit, you want that, that's fine. They rotate a little bit more, you don't want that, that's not fine. You're spinning and you're upset. KXI, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Unfortunate for him, a driver who maybe had a chance at winning the race today earlier on, now in 11th place, just trying to find a way to score points. And remember, we've talked a lot about the championship battles. We've talked about the Drivers' Championship, and we've talked about points, but what we have not talked about more than maybe we should is Morris and Trench, because these are the two, second drivers, I guess, at Mercedes and Haas, respectively, and they are stuck in a constructors' battle. Now, interestingly enough, there is over 100 points separating these two teams, but they are still wanting to best one another in every race possible. So Morris, he's really just going for podiums and wins, I'm sure. But with podiums and wins comes points, and with points comes potentially a better spot in the standings. But with DRS not active at the moment, Morris is not able to do anything on Trench. He just has to stay within his slipstream. And this is what I was saying, Trench, 7 laps on those medium tires. After a few safety car laps and after a few racing laps, those tires should have a nice bit of heat in them, and they should have a nice bit of grip. Now, as it stands now, I think that if the race were to end at this very second, the podium would be Timo, Trench, and Morris. So it's a good result for everyone. X-Gamer unfortunately would lose out due to the 3-second time penalty that he has, and here is an update on the time penalties. 3 seconds for X-Gamer, 3 seconds for Adams, 3 seconds for Kara, Norloser, KXI, as well as Sonic Hawk and Jime, but then you got 6 seconds for Luke Bailey, and that is just the real kicker for him. But he's not going to lose any more spots because he's already in 16th place. He cannot lose anymore. It's just unfortunate for Luke Bailey that, you know, what looked to be a good race for him early on is now turned into a very bad one. Lap 25 of 27, 3 laps remaining. Going to be coming to 2 to go once we get to the line. And so far, X-Gamer, he has kept Timo within DRS range, but he is in jeopardy of losing that DRS range. He's going to have to stay close to him, and I think that the DRS will be active this lap, so he's going to have to stay close to him for even another lap. Let's see what happens here. There's the DRS zone, but the rear wing is not open because there you see it, the DRS. It is enabled only now. So X-Gamer, he does not have the DRS going down the front straightaway. That is the best thing for Timo because Timo is able to extend the lead even more, and now X-Gamer lost very briefly that DRS zone that he needs to be in, and he is going to lose it by the time they get to the next DRS zone. Already 1.1 seconds separating those two drivers. Timo, just quite frankly, is too fast around this racetrack. Timo just needs to keep it clean for 2 more laps, and he will be able to call himself the winner of the Japanese Grand Prix, but he does have to keep it clean for 2 more laps. That means no time penalties, no offs on tracks, no spins, no wiggles, no bumps, no hiccups. It is just straight focus, straight driving, until you see that checkered flag. So Adams losing a few positions here, and wow, this is a big gaggle through the hairpin. Oh my goodness, 3 wide. Oh, and there's contact. The AlphaTauri of KXI is now out of the race. Adams, he has somehow been able to avoid most of that collision, but he did still get involved somewhat, and there you can see he has significant wing damage, I do believe, on that front wing. Yes, he does not have a left side end plate, so Adams is going to have to limp this back to the pits because it doesn't make sense to stay out on track, but it doesn't matter regardless because Adams cannot score points anymore. Sonic Hawk, he might have a chance at points at least, but Kara trying to get around that McLaren. Kara might have some damage himself, though. It was his teammate that had the issues. Yes, Kara, he's got damage too. Look at the front wing. Both of those front wing end plates are gone on the left side. So both of these drivers, we're going to see them dive into the pits. Meanwhile, Timo, he has crossed the line. It is 1 more lap to go, and Trench is battling hard with Morris. Morris has been able to get around Trench. Apparently, those soft tires are starting to come to life, but Trench's medium tires, they're probably coming to life as well. Oh, and there's contact as Trench gets into the back of Morris, but that actually helped Morris. It gave him a little bit of a boost of speed through that corner. And who is that off the track ahead of him? Is that X-Gamer? No, that is not X-Gamer. It is a Ferrari. It is X-Gamer. It actually is X-Gamer. He is off the track. Oh, and he gets into contact and he hits the wall. X-Gamer is now out of the race after he got into the back of Trench. So now the Red Bull of Martin has a chance to get a podium today. He's got to get by the Haas car. Meanwhile, Timo, he is 6 seconds ahead of Morris. There is no chance that Timo is not going to win this race as long as he stays on track. Morris is going to have to settle for second, but the real battle here is for third. For second and third, Trench trying to get second on Morris, but Martin and Calvin trying to get at least third from Trench. And oh, contact with the back, and Martin goes around Trench for the third position. Trench goes a little bit wide. Now Trench has to try to find a way to get around that Red Bull. He's only got a couple of corners to do it. Meanwhile, Timo up there in the Mercedes. He is now about to round the final 3 corners of this race. Calvin Racing is stuck. Oh, and Martin is just spun off the track, and Martin is out. Trench is in third now, and Timo is going to cross the line and win the Japanese Grand Prix. Morris in second, but who is going to get third? Is it going to be Calvin? It's going to be Calvin for the second week in a row in the Williams. No, it's not. It's Trench barely at the line. Trench barely got that podium. Trench on the podium just barely by 3/1000ths of a second. Have you ever? No, I've never. Trench third place by 3/1000ths of a second at the line from Calvin. That is such a tight margin. But Trench ultimately wins out on that little battle. And oh my goodness, we will talk to our top 3 finishers if they want to join the interviews. But if you do not like that kind of racing, then you just don't like racing, I'm sorry to say. That was a fantastic battle, no matter how you look at it. Even if you are not a fan of Timo, even if you're not a fan of Trench, you have got to commend these drivers for what they just went through those final few laps. So your official finishing results from a wild Japanese Grand Prix is Timo with another win and gaining on his championship competitor Carwin Robb. Morris in second place, a good podium for him. Trench in third, Calvin in fourth, just barely two, and I mean just barely. Frederick in 5th, Macaulay in 6th, Jime in 7th, Sonicock in 8th, 9th is Norloser, Max Iris in 10th, 11th is Martin, Kara in 12th, X-Gamer is 13th, 14th is Sky Adams, KXI in 15th, 16th is Luke Bailey, Crowhawk in 17th, 18th is Cassidy, 19th is Rogue Smithy, and Cinna Martins in the 20th position. So hopefully we will be able to get Trench in here as well as Morris and Timo. They do have access to our comms booth. They can join at will at their discretion. If, of course, they want to. We're not going to force anyone to give an interview if they don't want to, but we always love to hear them. Calvin is saying that he did beat him, and I'm getting questions as to how Calvin is not third. I honestly cannot say. I just have to go by what I'm seeing on the screen, and the screen says that Trench is in third. However, if there is a potential for a stewards report for that, then those of you watching, keep your eye on the social media channels in the following days. But I do have to go with what I'm seeing on screen, and what I'm seeing on screen is Trench did get out on that third place just by 0.3 of a second. Or 3 thousandths of a second, excuse me. And I do believe that we have at least one driver in here waiting to see if we can get everyone else. So Trench, he is now joining as well, just waiting for one more.
I think we're all here, Tim.
All right, so first things first, guys, please make sure you've allowed your voice to be shared. If you don't know how to do that, please go over to the party settings and make sure you have your voice set to always allow, and let me know when you're ready.
Ready?
Yeah, ready.
All right, so I don't know who is in here. Is Timo in here?
Yes.
All right, well, we'll start with Timo. So, Timo, another win for you. I know that it was a little bit different for you last week as, you didn't win, but you're back to your winning ways, and you gained on your championship rival of Carwin Robb because he was not here today. So, with just 6 races remaining, how has your focus shifted? What are your goals in the next 6 races to get that championship from Carwin Robb?
I mean, it's still the goal to get both championships, drivers as well as constructors. We've got some decent points on both championships, and hopefully I can tick all the boxes.
So, going into Suzuka, knowing that Carwin Robb was not here, did that add pressure to you to win today, knowing that that could be your best chance at a maximum points haul?
I don't know. Like, it doesn't really matter if I win without or with off. Like, it's a win and 25 points in the end. Yeah, just hope I will have enough points at the end to get the championship.
And final question, what was going through your mind when that final safety car came out with just a handful of laps to go? You were already solidly in the lead. Did it add on to the nerves, or were you just still as calm as a cucumber?
I mean, the nerves definitely did get a bit higher, but it only gave me another shot at the fastest lap for an extra point, so I knew I was probably gonna win anyway, so yeah.
Well, congratulations, Timo, on your win, and good luck in the championship in the final few races. Now, do we have Morris in here?
You do.
Okay, so Morris, a lot to talk about with you. You had a decent qualifying run, looked very fast, and then you ultimately finished with the podium, but there for a while it looked like you weren't going to be able to get a podium. So just tell us about your race, because it seemed like an up and down roller coaster.
Yeah, it was. My start was alright. There were the two Ferraris spun at some point in the race in front of me, and I during the race I probably took avoiding action like 3 times to not hit cars. But overall, it was a good race. Second to last lap, I'm sure Trench is aware, I wasn't very happy. He was in front of me, he let me through, but we were going through 130R, and I think he wanted the DRS, and then braked, and then I then had no front wing for the last lap, but you know, he let me through, so I do thank him for that. But yeah, it was a hectic race, first time on the podium in 12 races, or however long it's been. But overall, happy. I'm just in it for the constructors now, so we got maximum points that we could have today. So yeah, decent race.
So the battle between you and Trench, it seems to be a little bit more heated now because you're in the constructor standings, doesn't it?
Well, I wouldn't say it's heated. Like, I knew Trench was the only Haas driver. I knew I had to get him. But I mean, I'm sure it was accident, because I think it was a bit like the Max Lewis thing. I think he slowed down to let me through to get DRS and didn't realise that I was right behind him. But it happens at the end of the day. But look, I'm just here for good racing, get some good results. You know, it's nice to have drivers that can push us in the championship. Like, I've not been strong recently, so to have a driver like Trench being able to push us is definitely good.
Well, congratulations, Morris, on your podium, and as you said, it's been a long time coming for you.
Yeah, you're not joking.
So now we will talk to our third place finisher of Trench. Now, Trench, I am going to have to warn you that there appears to be some question as to whether or not you did finish third, because I have seen a picture. Apparently,
I don't think I did, to be fair, if I'm truthfully honest, but I'm here now, so. But I don't know. I think that Calvin personally overtook me off track at the end of the final corner, but I can't see his view. From my view, it looked like all 4 was off the side of the track. It does mean obviously I did squeeze him off the track, but you know what I mean. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I know, and I have seen a picture actually of the finish from a fellow driver's point of view. And
he definitely finished in front of me, 100% finished in front of me. I know that, but I think he's overtook me off track to get the position, if you know what I mean. But obviously that's down to the steward, so I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah, and you know, I have asked Calvin to join if he wants to, so that we can talk to him as well, just in the instance that maybe he is credited with that third. But assuming you are credited with the third, go ahead and tell us about your journey to this podium without having your normal teammate.
Well, it's been a nightmare. I had probably one of the best starts I've ever had in league racing, and then for some reason X game I decided to brake on the straight, and then, so I got wing damage, like turn 4, I think. So I went from P10 to P3, but I had wing damage, I had to pit lap 1, and then all the way through, come back through the grid, safety car, then another safety car, and obviously I was thinking about, what do I want to do? But I knew, and they constructors on the line, so I was thinking, alright, if I hot set the softs, I'm going to be down to P7. I'm not going to gain no positions, it's Japan. So I was like, alright, I'm going to brave it out, try and go mediums, and just try and hold on to Morris. Obviously, like Morris has explained, the DRS situation, I had a slight touch of the brakes, I do admit. Obviously, I didn't realise he was that close to me, to be fair. I was trying to be cheeky, like I will admit it. But obviously I gave him back the position. I don't know I don't know what he wants to talk about after, but we'll talk about that after. But obviously then I had wing damage for the final lap, which obviously didn't help. And then I don't know what happened with X Gamer, but he decided to just drive into the side of my car on the final lap as well. And then obviously Martin crashed as well, final second 130R. So I think it was just a hectic final lap, but nah.
I think you're right about that, Trench. I think that the final lap was probably one of the most hectic that SFR has seen this season, if not since I've been here.
Yeah.
But one final question for you, though. I do want your take on just what it's like battling with Morris in general, because obviously, you know, you two are well aware that while the Drivers' Championship is out of reach, it's still a constructors' battle going on.
Well, I don't know. I think if me and Morris are right, I'm pretty sure we're both battling for P4. Is that right, Morris?
Yeah, I think P4 or P3, because GMax, I'm only like 10 points behind GMax now. I think you're only 10 points behind me, so
Yeah.
we can both still get P3 in the championship
Yeah.
at least.
Obviously, I know, like, I'm not sure if Morris, I'm not sure, but I know personally that I'm second driver. Obviously, Kyle Robbie's just first driver.
Me and Timo have had this discussion. I've said, yeah, I'm second driver, so.
So, I think it's just like, you know what I mean? It's basically like Bottas having someone's actually race P3, innit? It's like if Perez was good. That's the only thing with it. Not a dig at Perez there, but you know what I mean? Isn't it? Like, so it's a bit of fun. Like, if Timo and Kai and Rob have a problem and we're there, you know what I mean? Like, we have a little battle. It's quite fun.
Yeah. It does definitely make it good because as you said, those two are fighting each other. You know, if me and you can have more wheel to wheel racing, it'd be great because we haven't had a lot. Because either
we actually haven't actually, no.
Or something's happened. So it was actually nice to have some battling.
It was.
What it's all about, so yeah.
Well, with that, congratulations on you, Trench, for your possible podium. But regardless, I'm sure that it will be fourth place, even if you don't get the podium. Of course, as we've said, that is going to have to be left up to the stewards. The only thing I can do is go by what I saw on screen and, well, what I saw on the leaderboard. And what I saw on the leaderboard was Trench was ahead by only 0.003 of a second. So who knows how that is going to play out when it comes to the stewards making the decision, but congratulations to you all nonetheless. And I don't think Calvin is able to join and talk to us, unfortunately, but Calvin, if you get that podium, congratulations to you as well, and if you don't, congratulations to fourth at least. And with that, thank you to everyone who watched the stream. Thank you to all the drivers who raced with us. Congratulations to our podium sitters, and until next time, good morning, good evening, good day, good night, wherever you are in the world. Have fun, and goodbye.